Hey there, welcome to Product Marketing Maestros, Tales from the Front Lines. I'm your host, Nitin Kartik. As a Product Marketing Alliance ambassador and a top product marketing voice, I've always found that real world case studies are the true litmus test for the effectiveness of any product marketing strategy. And that is why in this show, we dive into the minds of industry titans, as well as rising stars, unpacking their expertise in action packed episodes that showcase the power of product marketing through real world case studies. And today, my friends, we are joined by product marketing maestro Hannah Pickering in Chicago. Hannah is senior product manager at HealthEquity and a product marketing alliance ambassador. Hannah is an accomplished product marketer with expertise in storytelling, content strategy, growth marketing, and people management. She has led strategic go to market initiatives, product rebranding efforts, and content creation at HealthEquity and Loom. Passionate about storytelling, Hannah translates complex product features into compelling narratives that drive user adoption and sales performance. As vice president of the Chicago chapter of the United Women in Business, she fosters leadership and collaboration. As a product marketing alliance ambassador, Hannah regularly provides thought leadership to the marketing community. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Hannah Pickering. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I've listened to the show, so it feels very special to be on a show that you've been watching for a while. So I'm excited to be here and share a little bit about what I've learned through trial and error.
Trial and error indeed. That's how we all learn, Hannah. So that's fabulous. So thank you, Hannah. So, Hannah, like we said, we'll use the ABC framework to tell the audience about a situation from your experience, right? We'll talk about the antecedents, what were the prior challenges, we'll talk about the behaviors, what were some of the actions you took, and we'll talk about the conclusion, how things played out. So, with that, Hannah, pick a situation from your experience and tell us what were the antecedents, what were the prior challenges?
Yeah, so the challenge that I wanted to tackle today in this time we have together is all around creating sales collateral and what happens when you do it in the silo. And this is something that I'm sure a lot of product marketers have experienced because we all at some point or another are creating collateral that we're hoping sales will leverage to drive conversations and conversions among prospects or existing customers. So picture this. You're working on a piece of sales collateral. You're very pumped and excited about it. It's something that your sales team is going to leverage in the buyer journey. Maybe it's a pitch deck, a product one pager, or a product landing page. You feel really confident as a product marketer that you understand your audience. You know what keeps them up at night. What are their challenges? What are they trying to accomplish? And you think you know what's going to capture their attention and make them listen and take an action. So you finalize the collateral, you get in front of your sales team, and you share what it is and why you created it and how they can leverage it and what sort of outcomes you want it to drive. You don't have a lot of response, but you think, no resistance is a good sign, so you go about your day. Weeks and months go by. You go back to that content as you should to see how are people leveraging it? Is this being shared? Is it being consumed? And you're surprised to see that utilization is rather low. It wasn't getting the shares and views that you really anticipated and hoped it would. Maybe it's not driving the conversions you want to. It's really not moving the needle. And so you come back to your sales team and you ask them and you try to understand what's going on. And they're pretty honest, as I hope they will be, and tell you they're not using it. A few tried and found that it was actually confusing rather than driving clarity. A few felt they hadn't mastered the message enough, so they just didn't feel confident leveraging it. Maybe others forgot it existed, period. You have a problem, and that problem is called creating sales collateral in a silo.
Creating sales collateral in a silo. I love this. This is a problem that so many product marketers face. So I think this is going to be absolutely great. So thank you for laying out, Hannah, the challenges that a lot of people face. Now let's talk about the behavior. So given these challenges, what are some of the actions that best-in-class product marketers use?
Yes. So, creating anything in a silo, whether it's content or otherwise, is guaranteed to mean it's going to live there. It's not going to get the attention, the eyeballs that you want. And if you're like me, you probably invest a little bit of yourself into every piece of content you create. And you spend hours thinking about the message and the call to action and even things down to the visuals or what's on the banner. And you really want it to be successful. And so here are some tips I have found to help drive that success. So first and foremost, invest in relationships. Spend time getting to know your sales team and building trust. I know this sounds like a no-brainer, but I think it's something that it's easy to forget in the busyness of the work. Find ways to make a difference in their work as you get to know your sales reps. Identify the people who are the champions or potential champions of what you're doing. Look for sales reps who are really passionate about the customer. they really understand the market or the pain points. They are very excited about trying out new content and messaging in the market to test and learn. And so look for those people who you could potentially partner with as you're building the collateral. Understand their point of view. Know that they're always not always going to approach the market or your customers or personas the same way you maybe are. They're thinking about the content and what it's going to do perhaps a little bit differently. They're focused on getting that next conversation, booking that next meeting, moving the buyer down to the next, sales stage. And so really try to match and marry up how what they're trying to accomplish and what you're building with the content and see how it can help them move the needle and help them be successful in what they're trying to do. Put yourself in their shoes. You're a product marketer. You're not a sales rep. Maybe you were in the past. I've met product marketers who have been, and you probably understand this a little bit better, but really reach in and be empathetic. Try to understand what they're facing when they're using the content you're creating. Hop on a call, or at best, ask them to pretend to be the prospect and grill you. Put yourself in their shoes and actually see, if I was pitching this and using this content, how would the target audience respond? What would they ask me? It's going to open up the door to questions and areas that you maybe didn't think about that you want to get ahead of in the content and your training for the sales team using it. Build with them, not for them. This is something I am extremely passionate about. The best performing content I've ever created is content I built with sellers. And of course, I'm still the owner of that collateral. I'm driving the strategy and the execution, but I'm working with them side by side and taking in their inputs and then actually getting out with them and testing the content in the field before you finalize your version. You want to build sort of a minimum viable product that you can take out and test before you take the content to the world. And so look for those opportunities to do that with them. And then finally, stay humble. This is something that I remind myself every day. You constantly have to take your ego out of the equation. It's very easy to become emotionally attached to your work. And if something's not working, take it personally. Don't. Know that it's an opportunity to test and learn and maybe pivot and try something else. And so if a seller's coming to you and saying, hey, this deck isn't cutting it, investigate, understand, maybe it's not a systemic problem. Maybe they need some coaching one-on-one, but really think about and put yourself in their shoes and put the customer at the center of it all. You and the seller are together trying to accomplish the same thing at the end of the day. You're just approaching it from different angles.
Wow, look at that. You've given us a prescription of exactly how to follow these steps. This is absolutely fabulous. So thank you, Hannah. So now, Hannah, bring it home. So tell us the conclusion, right? When you've experienced these challenges and you've implemented these strategies, how have these situations played out for you?
It makes all the difference. Every single thing I've tried, I've learned this the hard way, but really building with your sales team to create that collateral makes all the difference. And like I mentioned, the best content I've seen is ones where I created it with sellers. I trained sellers on how to use it with sellers, and really got them invested and bought into the content. One of the conclusions that I think and the outcomes this will help drive is that you'll just be in a better position to create content that's effective. Again, whether that's trying to move a prospect through the buyer journey or trying to get someone converted on a web page, you're better understanding what's the right tactics you can leverage and what can you incorporate in your content to help drive that behavior. As you build trust, you build influence. And that's something else that I've learned too, is as you're working with the sales team and creating collateral and finding your champions who can go out and get their peers to use the content you're creating, you do build influence. And it will be more likely that in the future, those folks will come back to you with feedback, or they'll be excited about working with you on a new piece of content you're creating. They want to be part of that process. It's almost like they get FOMO, and they want to be a part of it because people want to be a part of something bigger. And so really invest in building that trust with them so that you can build that influence and cash in on that later on when you're developing new collateral. And then finally, the ultimate outcome you want to drive is greater utilization of your content. The last thing you want to do is create something, put it out there, and it never sees the light of day. And so there's a lot of ways to measure that, whether it's content views, shares, clicks, conversions, etc. Keep coming back to that content over time, at regular intervals to understand what's working, what's not working. It may be that you need to revise things as time goes on. So stay really close to your sales team. Marry up that anecdotal feedback you're hearing with also what the data is telling you to really understand where you need to take your content next.
Fabulous, fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Excellent advice. So thank you, Hannah, for taking us through that whole case study. I feel that I learned a lot. I'm sure the audience will learn so much as well. So Hannah, tell us, if people wanted to find out more about you and what's next, where can they do that?
Yeah, so I'm active on LinkedIn. Who isn't? So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. If you search Hannah Pickering Chicago, I should pop up. I'm there every day. I would love to say hello. We can trade tips and learnings of the joys and challenges of sales collateral. I'm also a Product Marketing Alliance ambassador, and I'm a member of the Slack community. I'm also there every day. So if you're active in the Slack community, feel free to reach out and say hello. And then finally, if you're Chicago based, I will be at the Chicago Summit, Product Marketing Alliance Summit in November. So let me know if you're going to be there. I'd love to say hello or grab some coffee.
Wonderful, wonderful, brilliant. Thank you so much, Hannah. Folks, there you have it. Definitely reach out to Hannah for more great insights like this, and on with that knowledge, onward and upward.